It only took us 2 years to get a full set of metal drive shafts for this RC. How's it going, guys? Josh here at Trax RC, and today we will be installing the Tekno M6 Driveshaft kit for the front on our Stampede 4x4 VXL. We actually have these same drive shafts installed on the back of this truck as well. And we have never had any problems with these drive shafts besides like the grub screw falling out. But really, that is just a simple fix and it only happens on rare occasions. So let's go ahead and open these up and check them out. Alright, so we're just gonna cut off the top. Set that off to the side. And inside we get the 2 steering blocks. We get a bag of bearings, looks like some washers, some screws, hexes. We get the drive shafts themselves, some instructions, and a sticker sheet. So let's go ahead and cut open the bags with the bearings and the hexes first. And then the bag with the drive shafts. And then I laid out all of the parts included with the kit so that it is easier for me to locate all of the parts necessary while I am doing this build. For this install, we will use a 7mm wheel wrench, a 1.5mm hex wrench, a 2mm hex wrench, and a 2.5mm hex wrench. You may also want to have a flathead screwdriver and a pair of needle nose pliers. Those tools aren't necessary, but it'll just make the process a lot simpler. We are going to show you guys how to do the left side of the truck because it is the same process as the right side. So first we're going to undo the 7mm nut holding on the tire. Next we are going to use our flathead screwdriver to pop off the wheel hex. Now we are going to push out the axle pin, pull out the Teflon washer, and set that off to the side. Now we are going to unscrew this screw right here. Now we're going to undo both of these screws holding on the steering block. There's one on top and one on bottom. Next we can undo the 1.5mm grub screw holding the top of the drive shaft to the diff output. Depending on the length of your tool, you may want to remove the front bumper, and that's super easy. It's only held on with 4 screws. And removing the front bumper will just give you better access to that screw. After that grub screw is removed, we can push out the steering block and the entire drive shaft assembly. Then we can push out the drive shaft, and if the bearing comes out, that's okay. You could easily pop that off. And then you want to pop off this bearing right there. And we will not be using the old steering block nor the drive shafts. Now we can take the new steering block, one of the included bearings, and put it on the outside of it, and then take the stock inner bearing, slide that in, and then set this assembly aside. Now we are going to grab a stub axle, one of the drive lines, one of these little black bars with a hole in the middle, an axle pin, a wheel hex, and 2 of these silver washers. So first we are going to slide this little black piece into the hole in the end of the drive shaft, just like that. And then we are going to take the stub axle, line it up with the hole in the drive shaft, and then insert this pin through those 2 holes. Once everything is in place, you should be able to rotate the drive shaft just like that. Now we can grab this assembly that we put together earlier, slide the drive shaft through it, just like that, and then take the 2 silver washers, put those over the end, and then grab the stock axle pin, slide that through the hole, and then snap on the included wheel hex. Now we are going to take one of the drive cups and slide it over the diff output, and then install the stock grub screw that is used to hold it in. Make sure you use some blue thread locker to secure that screw into place because it is threading into metal. Now we are going to take this assembly that we put together earlier, slide this end into the drive cup, and then slide the steering block into place and install the 2 screws on each side that hold it in. You just want to make sure that you don't tighten these 2 screws that far down because this should move very freely. And we actually had to trim some of the lower portion of the steering block for it to be smooth. If we hadn't done this, it would be very tight and we would eventually burn out our servo. Next, we are going to install the screw holding the steering linkage to the steering block. However, we will need to use 3 of these little black washers that Tekno includes with this kit. The washers will allow you to change your bump steer position to one of these 4 locations. We are going to put the washers so that everything will be stock. So the stock setup is to have the turnbuckle on bottom and then the 3 spacers on top of it with the screw going down the middle. And Tekno gives you the screw that you will need. Once you have everything in place, it should look like this, where the 3 washers are on top and the turnbuckle is on bottom. But like I said before, there are plenty other options that you could do to adjust the toe in and toe out of your vehicle. But we chose to do the stock location just to keep everything the same. And the last thing that we need to do is install the tire and the 7mm nut that holds it in place. Now we can repeat the same process for the other side of the truck, and after that we are going to reinstall our front bumper. And after you do the other side, you are done with this install. I should probably go ahead and mention that there is no thread lock on the threads that hold the nut for the tire on. So just remember to apply thread lock so then you don't lose that nut. And what I didn't tell you guys before is that this driveshaft kit is actually meant for the Slash 4x4, not the Stampede 4x4. Everything does fit except for one minor issue that we will solve in a different video. So what's happening is that when the suspension fully compresses, it clicks. And that is actually from the end of the drive shaft hitting the diff cup. At this time, we would like to invite you guys over to check out our website. Click the link down below in the description and it'll take you there where we have reviews on all of our RC cars, including our Stampede 4x4 and other ones that we have featured on the channel. There you can also buy Trax RC merch and learn general information about us and our channel. So we will be installing a few more upgrades onto our Stampede 4x4 in the near future. But that is it for this video. If you enjoyed it, like, share, and don't forget to subscribe. See you next time on Trax RC.